And the reason why these two create a toxic combo is because the narcissistic person feels like all they need to do is take time to really, really hone in on brainwashing the highly sensitive person. And that's what usually happens over time, because they end up having the highly sensitive person fall for them, believe them, blah, blah. Once the trust is established, once they know you're theirs, basically, they officially made you their girlfriend or boyfriend, they know they got you locked in because thus far you've followed what they prefer and you've accommodated them. And so now the next step that happens is jealousy and control. So you're going to find yourself, you're going to feel like your environment is changing around you, and the person that you thought you were dating is absolutely, completely someone completely different. And so this is where I say it's a mindfuck, because they're basically, quote unquote, every day slowly brainwashing you into only being there for them. And slowly you're letting go of your best friend. That's their first person of attack. It's your best friend. They always have to find something wrong with them. And so their main goal here is to alienate you from everybody around you that cares about you. And they just want you for themselves, but then they want their own lives, right? And so it gets really confusing. But a lot of people that, they're like, oh, I would never be stuck in a relationship like that or whatever. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's truly brainwashing. They brainwash you into believing what they're saying. And I distinctly remember a moment where I had it clicked for me, and I knew what I saw was what I saw. And the person that I was with was very, very narcissistic, and he was arguing with me, blue in his face, vein popping, spitting out of his mouth, that what I was seeing was not true. And that's where I realized, okay, I'm not dealing with someone normal here. This person has issues. Because if you think for 1 second that you're going to continue playing this game and I'm going to play along, you're wrong. And I am not going to subject myself to this crap for the rest of my life, because I'm smart enough to know that I wasn't raised like that. I didn't have to deal with these kind of mind fucks when I was younger. And I sure as hell am not going to choose someone to make my life miserable for the rest of my life. And so thankfully, I was headstrong in that relationship. And so yes, he swooped me in. Yes, he got me. He fooled me. He made me waste 6 years of my life. He made me lose some of my best friends. He made me lose my family around me. He completely annihilated me from everybody. He had jealousy issues. He was always starting a fight over anything. If someone looked at me, he accused me that I was dating them behind his back and whatnot. And it was complete and utter BS all the time. And my safe haven back then was to go to work. And so I remember distinctly going to the doctors because I had Googled my symptoms, and I was convinced that I had ovarian cancer, and I was like 21. And she starts asking me questions, and she's like, your stress level, blah, blah, how's it going at home? And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. She's asking me about my personal life, just while, touching and trying to distract me. All the while, all this time, what she's discovering is the fact that my home life was my troubles. It's what was causing me so much pain. And now the pain that I was ignoring mentally or visually was manifesting in my body. And now my body was telling me, hey, wake up. This is not a safe place to be. This is not a safe person to be with. And you need to tap out now. And so you get signs, and just know that you're never going to be alone. I felt completely alone when I left him. And it had been 6 years on and off of this crap, of this brainwashing. And I remember I was driving home from work and I was crying so much I couldn't see the road in front of me, and I thought I was going to crash and I had to go park somewhere. And I didn't know what to do. I had lost all my friends. I just felt completely horrible, and I did not want to call them back. I knew that they would say, you're just going to go back. And absolutely, I completely understood where they came from. And I remember going to my parents' house, and I opened the door, and my mom was in the kitchen, and she's always happy, always positive, upbeat. And she would always come and, to the end of the kitchen and say, hello, and how was your day or whatever. And I remember she came around the corner, and I just looked at her and I shook my head like it's over finally. And I remember I fell to my knees. My legs gave out. And I remember that was the toughest situation that I've ever gone through in my life. And I couldn't believe that I was such a headstrong person. I was such a positive person. I was such a happy person before meeting this person. And this person had so much trauma and so much baggage from his past that I took on as a guilt for him. I took on all of his troubles to try and make him feel better. All the while, I didn't realize that I was depleting myself, and I was completely and utterly shutting myself off to just basically take care of this person and making sure that his mental health was good, but while mine was deteriorating because of his own jealousy and control and narcissistic behavior. So you really, really have to be careful when you start dating somebody, and it can take 1 year, 2 years that the person starts changing. Be aware of that. Notice that that's not normal. Yes, they can change if there's something that's happening in your life. I mean a change where it's just out of nowhere and they become somebody completely different. In my situation, this guy played a role. He asked me so many questions about what kind of man I liked, what did I like to do, and all of that. And he fooled me for a full year into believing that that's who he was. And he had taken everything I had told him and molded himself into that person so that I could fall for him and end up being his girlfriend. And then years down the line, I'm completely over my head in love with this guy. And he completely switches the script on me and tells me that everything he's been telling me is not at all who he is. And that, it's going to be like this from now on. It's going to be like that from now on. And so when you've been through a situation like that, years and years and years, and you slowly drop off people that have been around you, it really, really messes with you. And you really, really have to heal. It's very important to work on yourself. It's very important to talk to yourself and to understand that it is not your fault. You're not weak, not one bit. This person is sick, and this person played you like a fiddle. And it wasn't a weakness what you've been through. It was to make you stronger and to make you realize that you deserve so much better than what you were taking for so long. And so if you notice that you are with someone like that, I would dig a bit further to see if they do have a narcissistic personality, because let me tell you, you are going to be stressed and anxious for the rest of your life being with someone like that.